Ew, what's that? Thanos
Oh,
bobblehead. why do you have this? Did it
I
come with the
am
DVD?
no, I am inevitable. Um, I got it. Look, it's our buddies from NECA.
Oh yeah,
Did
okay.
did this? It's actually it's quite hard. It's a polystone statue, actually. It just bobbles around.
Yeah, shout out
He's
to bobbleheads. You
inevitable.
should you should glue it to your dashboard.
Yeah. I actually thought that you were going to play the longer intro, so I was just going to start
Yeah,
off like
no.
this.
I threw you a curveball. What's up, folks? Welcome to the Sidekick Show. This is my fantastic co-host here, Rob, goofing around with a Thanos bobblehead. Always
What's
likes
up,
to let me
everybody?
throw random stuff at him, and he can think on his feet. So that's why he's here. I'm just here to talk nonsense. So thank you for joining us.
I
We
really kind
will
of
be
wish he
talking
wasn't
about.
a bobblehead though, because like look at the body proportions. Like I was like, you kind of wish it was a proper. Like,
You
would have
could
been
you could grab a head off some other toy or something and pull that off.
yeah, but then it'd be like I put a Scooby Doo head.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I got this from my buddy Chris. We got this for my birthday one
Yeah.
year. So
Shout outs to Chris with the
yeah,
Thanos bobblehead. You should put a goofy hat on him maybe or something like that. But folks, we will be
yeah.
talking about our movie later on today. I was gonna say Wolverine Endgame. It's not Wolverine Endgame. It's
No, it's not
Avengers
Wolverine
Endgame.
Endgame.
For some reason, I had Wolverine in my head.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about that. But first, we're going to talk about our what's been going on with you guys. How was your week? Random news bits and other random happenings at the shop, and then we'll get back into that. So if you are new to the show and this is your first time watching, thanks for joining us. If not, you're catching this on the replay. Maybe we are live every Monday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come join us in the chat. I see Fraser's in there and Luce is in there. What's up, guys? So let's hit them with the. Hit him with the hind? No, not hit him with the hind. How was your weekend, Rob? Did you get up to anything fun? I actually kind of got a chance to watch a couple things. Not a
Well,
ton.
first of all,
Oh
let me
no,
just say, my
perfect.
friend, happy belated Father's Day to you.
Yeah, you too.
So why don't you tell me what did you get up to?
Yeah. So I actually got to watch. I finished the Adam Sandler movie Hustle. I don't know if you got in
Okay,
on that one.
I haven't watched it yet.
That was a lot of fun. It does have a Rocky like formula where it's
Okay.
just kind of like like montage into feel good type of movie. So I definitely would check it out, especially if you're a basketball fan. Lots of cameos, lots of like hardcore basketball stuff going on in there. I was watching it going, oh, this is what it looks like when you get people who actually legit know how to play basketball to do basketball scenes. But shout outs to those shows. I have a lot of fun with those other shows that maybe have actors kind of playing athletes. And sometimes they're trying their best, so you can't fault them. I did get to see. I don't know if you saw this random movie called The Valet. It showed up on.
No.
I think it was. I think it was Netflix, and it's about this guy who's a valet, and he has to pretend to be the date for this like famous actress or whatever. And it's a silly rom com, and it's kind of got the Clash of Cultures theme, which is always fun. And then I did watch. I'm about like 80% through Spiderhead. I don't know if you saw Spiderhead drop. That's the Chris
Not
Hemsworth
yet.
movie.
I have seen it drop, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. I think we did see the trailer drop after we talked about it for our upcoming summer hype, and it did not look like the movie we thought it was going to be.
No.
It's more of a psychological thriller. So if you're looking for something along those lines, definitely check. So far, it's got me hooked. I'm worried that the ending is going to not work out. So maybe wait for me to report back on that one before you dive
Well,
into
it's
that one.
directed by Joseph Kosinski, who just is still hot off of Top Gun Maverick. So
yeah. How do you top that though? There's no way. He doesn't have no planes. This definitely looks like a movie that maybe they were looking through the scripts and they're going, with COVID going on, what can we do on like one set with a limited amount of actors and actresses and stuff? And this must have been like top of the pile because it's.
I heard Chris Hemsworth's really good though in it. Like I heard.
Yeah, I was surprising. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know if he needed to be in here. This could have been anyone. And then later on, it kind of like you're like, okay, I'm kind of feeling this. So if you want to see him do something different, and he looks hella good. He got like the beard. He's got like these cool like aviator like lenses and all this kind of stuff going on. So he looks really good. Yeah, Lewis is saying valet. No, yeah, it was fun. If you're in the mood for a rom-com, classic cultures type thing. And the other thing I did, Rob, this weekend was I played a hell of a lot of TMNT's Shredder Returns, which is like this throwback game for I think it's on every platform. I think you can get it, Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. But it's a throwback to the old Ninja Turtles games where you're just kind of beating up by the company .emu, who is knocking it out of the park. They did the Streets of Rage game, and they've done a whole bunch of they did a cool like frisbee throwing game. The name slips my mind right now, but they've done a whole bunch of kind of like semi remakes of really fun games. So I think I'm gonna just be following them all. Like whatever they release, I think I'm gonna pick up. Did you get a chance to play this Turtles game, Rob? I think you said you were in as well.
Yeah, so I downloaded it. I played the first 3 levels yesterday afternoon because I had guests over all weekend. So my son and we teamed up.
You should get them to play. It's like 6 players.
I know. It was no. It was so much fun though because it was old school co-op gaming without having a split screen. It was all like, you know what I'm saying? Like now when you're playing, if he and I were to play Call of Duty together on the same screen, it's split screen. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was so nice to be like together on, and I said to my daughter, I said, hey, you should come and play this too. Right. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I loved, the beginning is the old school Nickelodeon cartoon introduction, the old TMNT, cartoon opening. And I loved it. Right. It was a lot of fun. I'm excited to get the full catalog is coming out later this year of all those old school TMNT games. And this has just fueled my excitement for that. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Like the game is very well put together. You can drop in and out. So it works really well. If I was ever to put together a list of games I recommend for you to play with your kids, my oldest daughter is 9 and she like loves the game and it's perfect for her. Because you can drop in and out. You can actually join up with friends online as well as on your couch. So you can fill that screen with like 6 people, no problem. So highly recommend that game. But I'm sure you got up to some other stuff other than what I did, Rob. So let's go through your list.
Actually, I was just gonna say, you know what? Your daughter's 9 and she loved it. My son is 13 and he's a bit of a game snob. He's like, oh, I like the PS5 graphics there. But he actually was surprised at how much fun this game was. So I highly recommend it. Okay. What did I get up to? You know what, John? I feel like I didn't watch as many things this past week that I have in weeks past. I am still crushing my X-Men Volume 1 Omni. I'm about 80% of the 70% of the way through. It's a lot of fun. It's an interesting read though, John. This is the Chris Claremont and John Byrne era. With Dave Cockrum at the beginning of it, and it's a bit of it can be tough to get through some of the stories.
Some of these old books are more about nostalgia. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to look at the art. Sometimes you just want to flip through them. That's why the omnibuses are kind of cool. They cover like such a span of issues. Yeah. If you find out a particular thing happened in an issue, odds are you have it in your omnibus, which is the fun part.
One thing I did watch, John, so in the last little while, I have been hooked on these dramatizations of podcasts that were based on real stories. So I watched a few weeks ago The Dropout about the scandal, the Theranos scandal with Elizabeth Holmes, which is really, really good. You see, it's on Disney Plus if people haven't seen it. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. And then I watched Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It is on Crave. No, it's on whatever it is. So you can check.
I think it was Crave.
I think it's Crave. It is Crave. If you have that, you can check it out. Anyways, this past week though, Apple TV Plus has We Crashed. It's the story about WeWork, and it's got Anne Hathaway and Jared Leto.
Oh,
and it's 8 episodes. And John, I was like, oh, here we go. Another crazy, silly ass story about a tech company. But I couldn't care less about WeWork as a company, but the story was compelling. And watching these two, you're like, holy crap. It was a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. So if you have Apple TV Plus, I recommend you check out We Crashed. It's a great show.
How did you say these originate? You said they originate from like kind of podcasts, and then
they've been is like usually they've been like We Crashed is actually a podcast from the Wondery company. I'm sure you've heard of Wondery. They do a lot of investigative stuff. Yeah, so Wondery did a podcast called We Crashed, and then all of a sudden it became the show. And same with The Battle for Uber, and same with The Dropout. Like these are all. And that's, if you think about it, it's how Tiger King started, right? Tiger King was a podcast called Joe Exotic. It became the TV show on Netflix. Then that became a dramatized version, right? So I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, how far back does this stuff go? And I think that the first that I can really recall was The Social Network, right? Like that to me is the most modern tech bubble type, company dramatization that was based on an expose, and I think it was Vanity Fair or something. I don't know. Anyways, so I watched all that 8 episodes. Definitely give it a go. As an aside, I know we've talked about Apple TV Plus in the past, John, and some people don't have it. We've talked about the TV show For All Mankind. I will say,
yep, your jam.
Free right now. Season 1 is completely free. You don't need to sign up. Just download the Apple TV Plus app. There's no sign up required. Like no credit card, nothing else. But if you want to watch the first season of it, it's free for you to do so, and I highly recommend doing it.
That's good. So they're giving it away. They're giving away season 1 to you folks. So I think you're definitely going to check that out.
It's worth watching.
I saw a bunch of people raving about this is one of the best shows on, I guess, quote unquote TV, because it's technically a streaming service.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think people are sleeping on Apple TV. I think.
Yeah. And I watched a couple of the movies that are probably are in. I think one of the Rambo movies, like the second last one, Rambo 6 maybe, or Rambo 5, whatever it was. And doesn't matter. And then I just started 1883, John, the prequel series to Yellowstone. So
okay, yeah, I think you talked about this before. Yeah.
So I'm like 2 episodes in. We'll see what happens. But that's really about it. John has been mostly trying to get through this Omni. And that's about it.
Yeah. If you guys don't read comics or that type of stuff, it's definitely a fun thing to do, especially with these nice weather. You can sit outside. I'm sure Rob's staring at his empty pool right now, reading it. Oh. Unfortunately, we don't want to get him started on that. But you can sit out on your patio. You can take it with you on the go. Read a little bit before bedtime and all that kind of stuff. I've been catching up on Paper Girls. Yes. I never kind of read the entire run. It's about 30 issue run. The Amazon Prime show is due out the end of July. Yeah. And I sold a bunch of them at the shop today. I guess people see it's coming out on the horizon, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really good book. I'm just at the beginning now. So if you want to read along with me, get on that. You can read the first issue for free on the Image Comics website.
Dude, why aren't you not doing that? It's called Read Along with John.
Yeah, read along with like the little star on the.
Yeah, with John.
It might be slow. Sometimes I fall really behind. So people are like, hurry up, catch up. So Gordon shouts out Outer Range. Did anyone check that out? That's the Josh Brolin show. I feel like so many shows dropped at once. Yeah,
so it is on one of my lists to drop, just to watch. The same with The Offer on Paramount Plus. This is the thing, John. Yeah. I have all of these damn lists on all of these damn streaming services, and I'm spinning plates, man. I'm spinning plates trying to get these movies and TV shows watched.
Yeah, shout outs. Lewis says he played a lot of Fortnite this weekend. I still really love that game. And shout outs to the movie that we're going to talk about later, End Game, which they're playing Fortnite in the movie, which was pretty cool. I don't think I got that the first time I watched it because I didn't know what the hell Fortnite was, but it was kind of cool to see it on the screen, right?
Right. Fair enough. Well, that's what I got, man.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thanks. If anyone else has got recommendations from their weekend, let us know. But we'll dip back to there. So let me show you a little bit about what's going on at the shop, Rob. My list is pretty short this week. It's kind of a lighter week for us, but I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that I forgot about. So if you are not following us on the Instagram and Facebook, I do post the new comics coming out each week. Usually on Sunday nights. I missed this Sunday night, so I posted it this morning. So there's a whole bunch of good titles coming out, and we are getting a restock of the Fortnite X Marvel, whatever the crossover is called. We're getting a restock this week. It sold really well for us, and a lot of new kind of readers and young kids kind of popping in to get it. A lot of people asking for it to get for a friend. So we will hopefully have those for you the middle of this week. So check that out. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, so I'll have to wait for someone else's review. Maybe Lewis or Fraser got a chance to read their copies. I saw them earlier in the week. So the Action Force, the Valaverse, which is one of the indie toy companies, I just put up the pre-order for Series 3. which is an all-female lineup, which is pretty cool. You don't really see that in action figures. Usually the female figures are kind of like either ignored, or you might get one figure for your whole wave. But this is an all-female lineup. So check that out. Pre-orders available now, and those will be shipping sometime in November, October. These are the 1/12 scale, kind of like Marvel Legends / G.I. Joe classified size. I did want to shout out a couple omnibuses. Rob's all about the omnibuses. And since we're talking a little bit about all this Thanos and crazy cosmic stuff going on in the Marvel Universe, the 2 omnibuses that I do have in stock right now that I would recommend are Marvel's Annihilation, which is a big cosmic battle featuring Nova and the Nova Corps and Thanos and all kinds of different cosmic Marvel characters that kind of a lot of people missed out on. It happened at the same time as Civil War back in the day, and it took kind of all the attention. So this Annihilation crossover, a lot of people missed out on. So I think it is something you should highly, highly recommend that you check out. And Infinity Gauntlet, an old classic. If you've never read it, definitely check it out. And it's got all these kind of little extras in there. So that's a classic.
Hey, did you see the cameo by Jim Starlin in Endgame?
Oh, did he actually cameo? He's like actually in it?
Yeah.
They mention him, right?
No, but he's actually in it.
He's actually in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll talk about that when we get to the movie. But I want to show off this statue here since we're talking about Thanos and Infinity Gauntlets and all kinds of stuff. So this is a Pop Culture Shock, I think, statue of Thanos in the 1/3 scale. And it is based off the video game Marvel Champions, which I think is a mobile game or something like that. Yeah. But this is a big mamma jam of a statue. You can see it's 34 inches high here. It has a light up Infinity Gauntlet, which is really cool. And you can swap the face out. So you got kind of this menacing looking Thanos as well as just kind of mouth closed, no teeth Thanos, which is really cool.
Hey, John, do you ever watch unboxing reviews of these statues?
Yeah, I've seen some. They have some big names that do them as well. I saw Kadeem Haddison, I think, or whatever his name is from Different Worlds. Does a bunch and stuff like that. Yeah, so they're always really fun.
Well, I will say there's a guy called Gem Mint Collectible. He does review on comics and omnis and statues. He just reviewed this a few days ago. It is like, it's hard for the reason I'm bringing it up is that it's hard for us to, you're looking at this photo, but it is massive. Like, it's a massive, massive piece.
Yeah, 1/3 scale. They kind of show the picture there. You can see the guy. It goes right up to his neck. It doesn't start till like above his knees, but still, it's a pretty big statue. So
yeah,
this is a pretty. And here's a funny rendering on your weird
and it would probably
table. That too. The table would like have a sunken hole in the middle. This guy is about $1,000 USD. So if you're interested, let me know. I can hook you up with that. I did want to show off one more piece. Rob, do you know what the hell this thing is?
Is that
it's a weapon, and it kind of opens up and these lights kind of turn on and start blinking and stuff like that. It's usually used to sever people in half.
Is it like a blade, right?
Yeah, I think it's called a smart disc or something like that.
Is it from actually I don't know.
No, this is from Predator 2.
Oh, Predator. Okay.
So the Danny Glover one, where the Predator is in the city of I think Los Angeles, right? We should probably add that to the rewatch one time.
Yeah, it is
but he kind of opens it with his hand, and it starts to like light up. So this is a prop replica from one Hollywood replicas or something like that, or from Sideshow. We can order it in. This guy will cost you about $800. It's pretty cool. I feel like they might have wanted to get something from Predator 1, but it's pretty cool. It's a 1-to-1 replica that they got permission to do of the actual. They call it the hero version from the movie and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool.
What though? There's a lot of Predator, like Predator 1 or Predator stuff out there. There's not a lot for Predator 2, and there is quite the cult following on Predator 2.
I feel like we really need to put that on the watch list. If it's anywhere streaming, then we should probably put it on there somewhere. But that's all I got for you right now, Rob. So I'll kick it off to you to talk about the news. If there is any news, did anything happen? I don't know.
We have news, my friend. News and reviews. As John said earlier, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching us live, thank you very, very much for being in the chat and contributing. And if you are listening afterwards, thanks so much for listening. Please make sure you review and do all those like, subscribe, and everything else that they ask you to do. And join us Mondays if you can for the live chat. if you haven't had an opportunity to check out the Heroes World podcast, myself, John, and Stu, we did a what the hell did we do, John?
The unbearable weight of massive
That's
talent.
right. The
Starring our
unbearable weight
guy,
of massive talent.
Nicolas Cage.
Your guy, Nicolas Cage. So that is on the YouTube channel if you want to check that out. All the videos are on the YouTube channel, so please do us a favor and make sure you subscribe and check out all those videos that we have up there. Okay. Hey, John. Here's our start of our I'm so glad Scott's here. I'm glad Scott's here. Hey, John, you know what I love? News that breaks right before we start the show. But what I love even more, John, is news that breaks either during or after the show. So last week, after we finished this show, John, about an hour or so later, news broke regarding Joker 2, a follow-up to the Todd Phillips directed Joaquin Phoenix movie of 2019. First, Phillips had posted a pic on his Instagram feed of Phoenix reading the script, and then came word that Lady Gaga is circling Joker 2, which is said to be a musical, and she will play Harley Quinn. So, John, my question to you is, what the F is going on?
They're leaning into it. I don't know. I got nothing, but I wouldn't consider myself a fan. Like, I don't run out and grab her album every time it drops, but I have big respect for Lady Gaga. Like, her music is actually really good. Everything I've seen her do on screen is amazing. Like, the artistry in her music videos, even her interviews. Like, I heard her on the Howard Stern show. She was like amazing. And she even just sang some like a couple bars of like rock music. You know, when singers do interviews and stuff and they kind of don't sing live, she was like going all in. She was singing live. You could tell she's like natural raw talent. I don't even know raw, but she honed like amazing talent. We've all seen the videos of her just singing the Shallows. Is that the song from A Star Is Born? Just at the whatever the script reading is. Imagine it being at the table when she busts out and sings Shallows for the first time. Holy crap, that must have been an amazing experience. So I didn't even watch the first Joker. So if you're going to turn this into a musical and you're going to put Lady Gaga in it, I'm in. I'll try it. I'll try it. I didn't try the first one, but Rob, I want to ask your
I have nothing against Lady Gaga. I did watch listen, John. I've watched all of these superhero movies countless times. I will say, Joker, I went to the theater and I saw it. My wife and two other friends, we went. It was I haven't seen it since. For me, I found it a very difficult movie. Not that I was bored. I just felt like the subject matter and material about mental health really like dragged me down to the point where usually you come out of a movie and you're like, oh, yeah, it was really cool. Like I was like, we were driving home. We're like, I just want to go
there was what do you call it? Like the
we were so
uncomfortable silences.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was just like, we don't, so I haven't seen it since. Listen, these DC movies, like this Joker movie, is not part of the DCEU continuity. That's why Lady Gaga would be Harley Quinn. Yeah, whatever, man. But you know what? I will say the musical aspect. Like, I've never been a fan of TV shows that have musical episodes. The Flash did it too. I won't watch any of that stuff. I don't like it. If I wanted to have I'd watch Glee. I don't want to watch Glee. I don't give a shit.
Oh, Glee! So, those are good times.
Shut up. So we'll see how it goes, but whatever, man.
What do you think of the whole like why not have Margot Robbie in there, or not? Why not have Kaylee Cuoco, who does the voice? Yeah. Well, anyways, but Kaylee Cuoco, who does the voice for the Harley Quinn animated series, has taken quite a dramatic role in this Flight Attendant. I've only watched like a bunch of episodes, right? But she could have probably went toe to toe with maybe not toe to toe, but she probably could have got in the mix with Joaquin Phoenix. What do you think about them just overlooking them?
No, well, Margot Robbie's not going to do it. She's done what, Harley Quinn 5 times. Again, it doesn't tie to anything else. And with all respect to Kaylee Cuoco, whatever her name is, I just don't think she's at the same level as Joaquin Phoenix. Right. So I'm going to move on, John.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, John, I think it's safe to say that overall you've been a fan of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. Well, now you can add Wonder Man to the mix. That's right, John. Marvel is developing a Wonder Man TV series with Shang-Chi director Daniel Cretton and Andrew Guest, a writer on Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community, will serve as the head writer. Now, cameras are supposed to start rolling sometime in 2023 for a 24 showing. So, John, my quick question to you, my friend, is who do you want to see take up the mantle of Mr. Simon Williams?
Oh man, I have no idea he would get to play Wonder Man. I think there was like some rumors floating around at one point, like a Nathan Fillion type,
Yeah.
to kind of take this kind of role. So maybe we could have Pedro Pascal or something like that. But the idea is he is kind of like a Hollywood type character. So I'm sure they're gonna find someone, but I didn't have anyone in mind. I don't know who asked for a Wonder Man show, but
I got somebody for you, bud.
here it is. All right, who you calling?
Glenn Powell, who played Hangman in Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, I would be 100% down.
Yeah.
But I think I would watch him in anything. But yeah, definitely be down with that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, John, in August, there's a prequel Game of Thrones show debuting. I know you know, because I know you're excited. And I know that you loved, John Ho, you loved Game of Thrones, specifically season 8. And if I remember correctly, John,
I've only seen season 1 of this nonsense.
Nope, you're a liar. You thought that the final season of Game of Thrones was the best out of all of them. You were going on about it. Everybody disagreed, but you said, no, I hold firm. Well, John, you're going to be happy to hear that a sequel series starring Kit Harington as Jon Snow is being developed. So, John, are you excited for a Jon Snow TV series, or do you, like Jon Snow, know nothing?
Absolutely not. I've only watched one season of Game of Thrones. I have no motivation to watch any more of it because everyone said that finale was so trash. So yeah, it's a shame for you guys that were watching every episode to have such a nasty ending. But I think this guy was one of the most popular characters from the show, I believe, right? So sure, yeah, give him.
Don't forget, he's Dean Whitman. He's the Black Knight, right?
Yeah. Does he survive at the end of the finale of Game of Thrones?
Well, if they're making a sequel series with his character, I would assume so. Yes, John.
I don't know. Maybe it's a prequel. Maybe it's a dream sequence. I don't know what they're thinking here, but I think they do need that Game of Thrones money to come back in, I guess.
I guess. Hey, John, a few months ago, we reviewed the Michael Mann movie Heat, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Now, a few months ago, we then also discussed the fact that Michael Mann had written a sequel to Heat, and it was being released as a novel, which is coming out this August. Well, during a panel at the Tribeca Film Festival recently, where Heat was being commemorated, the sequel was brought up. And when asked who could step into Pacino's role of Lieutenant Vince Hanna, Pacino himself responded that Scott Graziano's favorite actor from Dune, Timothy Chalamet, Paul Atreides, would be a great fit. He went on to praise Chalamet as an actor and said he's got great looks and would make the role his own. So, John, who do you think could take over for the De Niro role of Neil McCauley?
Oh, man, he's a good-looking kid. I don't know.
Look at De Niro. Who do you think? You got any suggestions?
Oh, my God. He'd have to be like, maybe I feel like Timothy Chalamet is too young to play this type of role.
Well, so apparently the book, it is divided into the aftermath of what happened at the end of the movie, and then it flashbacks to earlier.
Oh, so it's like kind of a semi prequel?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know anyone. I don't know who could step into.
Well, I got one. How about Miles Teller?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
I mean,
with the mustache or without the mustache?
Well, you can make it with the goatee. I think he could pull off if he could pull off Goose, he could pull off Neil McCauley from.
I will, in all honesty, follow any of those actors and actresses from Top Gun Maverick. So yeah, do it.
I knew you'd be down.
Do it, dude. I watched him. He's in Spiderhead. Yeah.
Yes, he is in Spiderhead. Yeah, and he's also in The Offer, the Paramount Plus TV show as well.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, John, it's time to start checking the car and couch seats for some loose change, buddy. Over the weekend,
you're gonna need a lot more loose change than what falls out of your couch, buddy.
Well, we can borrow some from Scott. The iconic cover to The Dark Knight Returns, which was illustrated by Frank Miller, was sold at auction for just over $2 million. John, I'm going to ask you a question. Is this crazy, absolutely crazy, or do you think that this piece, which can be looked at as a modern day piece of art, is worth the $2 million.
I'm actually surprised that it was not already in the hands of some collector or destroyed or something like that. But yeah, I think this is one of the most iconic comic books of all time. I don't see
Yeah.
anything in the future changing that. Even though, given Millar's track record, or sorry, Frank Miller's track record afterwards,
Right.
and even whatever you think of him personally as a person has not seemed to affect the status of this book in being in everybody's top 10 Batman or top 10 comic book period lists. So 2 million, I can think of a lot of things you can do with 2 million, but I guess owning the original Batman Dark Knight first cover, sure, well, go for it.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that, John, is the news.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Rob. That was a eventful news cycle. We're going to leave a couple other bits to be discussed maybe later, such as the fate of a Flash movie and things like that. But
we can go all day for that one.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So thank you everybody for sticking with us. That was the news, and you missed all the other stuff, so you can go back and watch that later. But now we're going to get into. Are we going to get into our movie, or do we have anything else to talk about first, Rob?
No, let's just jump into the movie, bud.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So lots to talk about.
Yeah, before we get rolling into the movie, we are going to ask you guys to submit a movie later on for us to watch next week. So start letting the gears in your head turn about that. We'll ask for that a little bit later, and we're going to let it randomly pinwheel that. So let's
just so you guys know, I've thrown out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, as well as Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, show us the Flash Hot Mess. Yeah, I feel like we could do a whole episode on that. So we're gonna wait for a little bit more developments to happen before we kind of chime in on that, or anything else. I don't know if we want to even comment on Amber Heard doubling down in her interviews, but whatever. Anyways, let's go. Let's go, Rob.
All right, guys. Avengers End Game. Following 2018's Infinity War, Avengers End Game was released April 26, 2019, with a reported budget of $365 to $400 million. I think we discussed this last week.
Yowza.
It appears, though, that this was the budget for both Infinity War and End Game.
Okay.
But End Game brought in $2.798 billion, which ended up being the #1 movie of all time at the box office until John, alleged egomaniac James Cameron, allegedly requested that Avatar be re-released in theaters and took back the crown, but I digress. John, there's literally nothing new about the directors, writers, and cast from Infinity War, so we're not going to go there. We all know. Now, in between Infinity War and Endgame, Marvel released Ant-Man and the Wasp in July of 2018 and Captain Marvel in 2019 of March. And thanks to Michelle for the correction for that one last week. I think Lewis as well. Now, both of those movies do tie into the events of what happens in Endgame.
Oh, really?
Yes, John.
I don't remember Ant-Man 2 at all. Like, at all.
Well, that was okay. Anyways, critics and audiences alike loved Endgame, with Rotten Tomatoes score at 94 and 90% respectively. So, John, after having only seen Endgame one time prior, are you a fan of this movie more than you remember?
Yeah, I actually, like, we kind of started the debate last week. I do, out of the two movies, which are, I guess, the end cap of phase, whatever the hell you want to call it, this is the movie I like the better of the two. And I think it's got a little bit more going for it. I think mostly it is the cast. And one of the key factors is, Scott mentioned it here, is Paul Rudd. I really like Paul Rudd in this movie as kind of the everyman, the kind of the fanboy, and comedic relief. It's almost like Marvel does this kind of thing where everyone just becomes suddenly really funny. So it was nice that they kind of let him carry a lot of the jokes for this movie.
Well,
so
it's funny you bring that up, because that was on one of the things I put down. I put down that, like, I wrote some notes. I said that Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. He's hilarious listening to Thor telling a story about James. You can see he's just
he's like
right. But I felt like he picked up the humor from the that the others from Infinity War, like Rocket didn't have at this point, purposefully, right? They were all bummed out and depressed by what happened, and you needed somebody who wasn't involved in the
Yeah.
first movie to be that. So yes, bang on with you saying, yeah, he
Hey,
was
yeah, the fact that he
so,
basically just kind of disappeared and all of a sudden reappeared, so he doesn't
yeah,
have to experience all the things that the other characters went through and things like that. So there's a reasoning why he's so kind of lighthearted compared to everybody else.
yeah,
But I feel like a lot of the cast just came together. I think this is Scarlett Johansson's best performance as Black Widow, probably, and it was a little bit of a darker take on that character.
yeah.
And let me see what I didn't have as in-depth notes as Rob does. I do quite like Nebula, although
Okay.
some people I know don't like the voice she uses for Nebula, and things like that. So overall, this movie, and it's long. Is this longer than Infinity War? This is like a 3-hour movie, if I'm
Yeah,
not
it is. It
mistaken.
is longer by like almost 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, okay. It was only 20 minutes. Okay, I thought it was maybe longer by like an hour. But there's a lot of movie to cover in this, and it doesn't even open with a lot of action. The action kind of is like absent until like maybe like halfway through the movie when they start doing the whole time heist thing. So for some reason, all these type of factors, for me, just make this movie an overall much more enjoyable experience. When I was rewatching it, I was kind of like glued to my seat, whereas Infinity War, I kind of had to kind of stop and start it and got other stuff done while watching it. So Endgame, I did sit down and watch the whole thing, and I was more captivated by it. But it could just be the bias towards all those characters. Rob, you are Infinity War. You insist Infinity War in your top 3-5 Marvel movies, probably. Do you feel the same after watching them back to back? I know you do watch these movies on the regular. I guess it's really big.
You know what? I haven't watched Endgame nearly as much as Infinity War. I think I mentioned that last week. I could watch Infinity War anytime. It's been quite a long time since I've seen Endgame, and I got to say, John, my opinion of the movie has changed.
Oh,
I
better or
have.
worse?
It's horrible. No. It's changed for the better. I actually appreciate the movie more now. I appreciate it also on a macro level as it relates to the other movies we've had since then. And I wouldn't mind getting into that a little bit because
Yeah. You get kind of like a mini wrap up, and
yeah,
it kind of stacks the deck. It basically takes you throughout all these old movies, almost bringing a nostalgia factor in for you for watching it.
yeah, and I know like when I saw it in the theater, this isn't one I went to the theater like 3 times that opening weekend to see it, and admittedly I was kind of bummed out. I felt like it was very slow, it was very morose. It didn't have like Infinity War starts. It starts with Thanos, destroying the ship and
Kicking
throwing all
Hulk's
that,
butt.
and then all of a sudden boom into New York. And it starts, Doctor Strange, and all of a sudden everything's starting to happening. This one was a slow build up. I mean, obviously you have the killing of Thanos pretty quickly, but it is a very slow, story driven movie story. And I didn't like it coming off of like the action of Infinity War, and yet I understood after a while like why they did it that way. I have a better appreciation of it now. I feel like this was such a good ending to what we got. You got that wham bam action, and this was like, now we're going to give you like, this was the Fast and the Furious. Now we're going to give you like a really nice, dramatic, meaty, there will be blood type of of movie, right? So,
well, yeah, you're right. Infinity War does have that kind of right off the gate. It's already going like 100 miles per hour, and it could be the fact that you have all the hype from all those other movies all still stacked up, kind of like in your blood, in your veins, and stuff like that. So when you go back and rewatch it now, if you're not in the same mindset, I feel like maybe that's why I didn't like Infinity War as much on the rewatch last week. As much as this movie, like you said, it has a slow ramp up. You get this Ocean's 11 type thing going on. You also get the kind of generic, not generic, but the cliche. Let's put together a team type montage in this as well. So you get like all these kind of elements that are kind of like help you kind of just dive into this movie after not rewatching every single Marvel movie right before it.
Well, I think so. Like, I'll give the things that irritated me, and I only have like 3 things I put down. And I think part of the reason why I was irritated by the pacing of this initially was because in my head, John, with the pacing of Infinity War, I expected it to be very similar because I'm stupid and I'm not a writer. And so I didn't anticipate that they were smarter than me. And so that scene, the circle, the support group scene, Cap's chairing.
Yeah.
That's I think that's Joe Russo that's there, one of the directors. Yeah. He's the guy that's going on the date. And Jim Starlin is in that, and he has a couple of lines in that. Cool. He was the bald guy. He looked like my son's like, hey, he looks like he should be Breaking Bad.
You look like Walter White.
Right. Here's what so that was my one.
As Rob gets into his list of I guess nitpicks or whatever gripes with the movie,
like 2 more,
everybody start dropping your favorite stuff, and then we'll cover that.
I got those as well. Yeah. Here's what irritated me, John. Okay, well, I wasn't a big fan of Smart Hulk when it happened. I'm still not comfortable with it because I like my Raging Hulk. I'm like, however, I do say, just as much as I was praising how Thanos looked with his facial expressions, they did that with this one with the Hulk. Mark Ruffalo looked fantastic.
Yeah, I also some of the comedic aspects I can see, like so Hulk fans, they get the last movie, Hulk kind of gets punked, and now this movie, Hulk is kind of like a comedic, just kind of like almost like a sidekick character. But he did like he looks kind of funky because he's got like the 5 o'clock shadow, and glasses, and then he's like riding in the back of that little truck, which was funny. I do really like the scene is when they're in the restaurant and they took the picture of him. Right. He's like, oh, you want to take a picture with Ant-Man? He's like, oh, of course they do. Come on. And they're like, no, they don't want to. No. It was a good play by that actor.
That was really funny. But again, you're right. I wanted a Hulk. I wanted the raging monster. Wasn't a big fan of Tubby Thor.
Some people love Fat Thor.
I know. But I am very happy to see that will be resolved in the upcoming movie, which I wanted to talk about after. The CGI helmets. So the quantum outfits, John, those were CGI'd after the fact. They didn't have time to actually build new suits to put on top. That was also. Okay. But the CGI helmets drove me crazy. And that's all I had for my nitpicks, because actually, John, I've watched this movie twice this week. I loved it more than I really expected to going into it again. Not that I didn't really like it before, but for me, it didn't hold up. I feel like Infinity War, though, is easier to kind of throw on at any moment, at any time, even in the background. I feel with an Endgame, you can't do that. Endgame requires you to sit down, just like all those
I think you have to get the build up, the kind of
those drama movies that we've watched in the end of winter into early spring, John. You can't just throw those on the background. You need to watch it. And I think Endgame fits that mold, and that's totally cool. So those are the things I didn't like, but I have lots.
If you were to say, hey, hop to a scene that you really liked in Endgame, I don't know if I could pinpoint that. Whereas Infinity War, I could probably name a couple scenes where you could just put it on and watch it. Whereas Endgame, you kind of need the whole path to be shown to you. Yeah, so a lot of people shout out Fat Thor was hilarious, and shout outs to the new Master 69, who I think someone I heard the rumor is someone actually took that name and in their profile it says Thor came and ripped off my arms, but here I am still playing, or something like that. So that's,
really?
That's freaking hilarious. Yeah. So this guy actually has this nickname or whatever. I will say they really committed to that bit. And to have your one of your best looking guys in the movie, arguably, when he's rocking the hoodie, like that other meme where he's in the hoodie, looks like Eminem from 8 Mile or whatever. he looked good even though he was down in the dumps, and you're kind of like, okay, and then now you get Fat Thor for the rest of the movie. When he gets the 2 hammers and then it just braids his beard, I thought it was gonna make him skinny again or something.
I thought so too. I'm in the theater, like he's gonna be all ripped off and the fat's me flying out. Like, nope. So Fat Thor, I think overall was great. I don't know if I would have changed it, because we do get Thor is Thor Ragnarok after this movie? No, it was first.
It was before
Thor Ragnarok led into Infinity War.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, okay, yeah, because he gets the new eye in this one or something like that, right? But yeah, shout outs to that. So I think a general consensus is Fat Thor is a lot of fun. Scott mentions reflecting on Clint Barton and all the Hawkeye stuff. So yeah, the Hawkeye stuff that basically felt like not necessarily a throwaway storyline, but spun into this wicked storyline for a TV show. on Disney Plus, which is great. I don't know if we knew that was going to happen at the time, or whoever was writing it knew that was the next step for him.
Yeah.
But I did really like seeing Hawkeye wreck shop. He had the crazy haircut and everything like that, and he had a pretty good storyline. Him and Black Widow scene.
Yeah.
Still pretty heartbreaking. Still pretty sad, especially now that you know that was Scarlett Johansson's. Like, she has the Black Widow movie, but this is like, it's official. She's done.
Yeah.
With this, I believe, right? So at the time it happened, you're just kind of like, oh yeah, she'll be back. But now you know that's basically the end of that character, and it's not coming back. So they did play that off pretty good. I think Scott mentioned earlier the death of that character and Iron Man really do kind of help give this movie some weight. So I thought, did you think Cap was going to die? Did you think Iron Man was going to die at the end of this movie?
Yeah. Well, I knew that this was like, there was that talk that it was Downey Jr.'s last movie. So I thought he was going to be, that was it. He'd be dead. I thought that they were going to kill Cap off as well. I kind of like what they did. Although it does present a lot of fanboys and fangirls on the net going, wait a minute, you're telling me that dude went all the way back in time, put the stones back, hung out, and he just let all this bad shit happen and didn't do anything? There was no historical context.
There was no two Caps running in to save the day or something like that.
Yeah, they're like, that's bullshit. He would have stopped these things from happening, but whatever, man. I thought it was a pretty cool way to go. Here's what my favorite moments, John.
Yeah. Run them down. I've got a couple other I've got some deeper cuts. I picked like small scenes that I didn't notice before, so we'll see if any of those overlap. Yeah, a lot of people say the Cheese Whiz line was hilarious. So you get a lot of mileage coming from this Fat Thor thing. So yeah, go ahead.
3000. I love like that, man. That went viral. That whole Love You 3000.
Oh man, that was pretty sad. Like the whole introduction of his daughter, and if you've got kids and things like that, you understand this motivation behind Tony Stark not wanting to do XYZ, and then you understand the weight of at the end of the movie. I feel like even on the rewatch, you kind of get a little teary eyed.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm going to throw in the Cap and Mjolnir moment, which leads me to my one request, John, is I don't understand why when we have Blu-rays that have director's commentary, why we can't have an audience reaction track. Because this movie, like that moment, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But to be honest with you, John, if you Google audience reaction Cap lifts Mjolnir, you watch that and you hear the audience going bananas. That makes that scene that much more fun. And I feel the same way about No Way Home when you have the three Peters together, right? Like, why can't we have it? Why can't we have an audience reaction track?
That's why you got to go to the theater on opening week,
but those moments
to experience that type of stuff. So I think
I would love to have an audience reaction track, because I could be watching the movie feeling like I'm with everybody in an audience watching it from the comfort of home. Okay, T'Challa was first out of the portal. Now you hear the hell? You hear Sam saying on your left. When the portal opens up, it's T'Challa that comes out first. And I think given Chadwick Boseman's passing, I felt now it's even all the more touching having him be the first person to come out of that portal. I felt like it hit differently for me. And the last, we've already mentioned Paul Rudd. The last thing, John, I don't know if you noticed this or not. I loved watching this in the theater, and I've Googled and done the YouTube video of this a number of times. The credits, there's no special end credit scene or mid credit scene, but in the middle part of the credits, they go through all of the actors, all the different superheroes who did stuff, right?
Yep.
And then they change the music, and they then do a very special montage of the original Avengers, from Jeremy Renner, Hemsworth, and everybody, Scarlett Johansson, and ending with Robert Downey Jr. And they have them, you can see little clips of them as a silhouette of their character comes, and you can see that they're
the signature was a nice touch.
And I thought that was classy as fuck. I loved it. It gives me goosebumps and chills every time I watch it. I feel like it was such a wicked gesture and a thank you to the fans who have watched all these movies that started with Downey Jr. So those are my favorite moments of this movie, man.
Yeah, no, those are some good choices. I think unanimously, Cap picking up Mjolnir or whatever you want to call it was the biggest moment in the theater, for sure. And I think upon the first viewing, it's probably the biggest moment in the entire movie. Even though a lot of us comic fans knew it was coming, I think I 100% knew it was coming. It was just a matter of timing of when it happened. So that entire last battle of the movie,
Yep.
even though some people criticize, some of the posing and stuff like that, it's still a fun ride, and I actually enjoyed all of it. I didn't really kind of find any of it too much of a stretch. Like, you have all those people on hand, you're definitely going to do. Yeah, Avengers Assemble, great moment. They never used it in any of the movies, and they saved it. I don't know if they purposely saved it for here, or they thought they were distancing themselves from the comics. I'll throw out a couple kind of deeper, not deeper cuts, but like kind of like minute cuts that I had. And one was, hold on, when Tony Stark returns the shield to Cap.
Yep.
I thought that was a really good moment because he had taken that shield during Civil War, I think. And then he kind of he just pulls it whips it out of his trunk. It's just been sitting in, and it's got, I feel like it had like a pizza box, or it had like a bunch of junk on top of it. Basically, it had been buried in the trunk of his car. Which was also funny because Iron Man pulls up and they show him driving all around the loop, and then he drives past Captain America, and then he kind of turns back. So that, it was a neat little that kind of thing. I like the moment when Hulk gives Scott Lang, who's Ant-Man, the taco after everybody lands, and Nebula walks by, and he's like, "Watch out, there's an idiot on the front lawn," or something like that. And then a whole bunch of other stuff happens, and then his taco's gone. Then Hulk walks up and hands him a taco. I think Ant-Man was definitely MVP of this movie for me. And let me see if I had any more. And then the other moment was a subtle moment, which was Black Widow and Cap. And Black Widow had just made herself a peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Yep.
And it's kind of on the table, and they kind of and they share it. I thought that was a really cool moment between those two characters and those two performers. So yeah, a lot going for this movie. Let's check the
hey, while you're checking,
comments.
John, did anybody in the chat let me know if you guys heard the shout out to Toronto or the mention of Toronto? Do you remember that?
I did. I remember hearing Toronto. Yeah, I forgot when it was.
So when Stark is on the table and he's lying next to Johansson on the table, Smart Hulk is on the ground, and they're talking about the placement of where all these stones are. And then she's like, "What type of doctor was he?" And then Stark's like, "I don't know, ear, throat, nose specialist, like that." And then he's like, he was on in Greenwich or whatever. And he's like, "No, he's from Toronto," like that.
Yeah.
And then wait a minute. If we play our cards right, all three of these stones are in New York at the same time. So Tony Stark was one I said, "No, he's from Toronto." Oh, that was kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, no, hey, shout outs to us Torontonians. Man from Toronto dropping soon too, I believe, as well. So
this Friday.
we'll get on that. Yeah, so if you guys have any other scenes that you want to talk about, let us know in the comments. I think what does Infinity War still win in your mind for this fight? I think you kind of said it earlier, but
I think
your official confirmation.
No, I think for me, Infinity War is just an more easily accessible movie for the simple reason that I can throw it on while I'm working. I feel like the dramatic moments of Endgame require me to really sit and focus. And I don't think that's a bad thing. The moments of Stark interacting with Morgan, him figuring out the time travel thing, and him saying, "Holy shit," and she says shit in the background. Like, it requires a lot more of our attention than Infinity War does. And for that reason, I think for me, I think Infinity War I can throw on any time and not be right. But I really, really respect and like Endgame a lot more than I did. And I'll probably watch it again before the summer's out.
There's a lot to pick up in this movie as well. I think one of the lines is when he's working on Tony's working on the whole time travel aspect. He's like, "I could do this, but I can't," or whatever. And then Gwyneth Paltrow or Pepper is like, "Oh, you won't rest," or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, the line cycles back, and she's like, "Oh, Tony, you can rest." So it's kind of like
now you can rest.
There's a lot of. I feel like there's a bunch of lines that kind of do that in this movie. And I probably should have jotted them down, but whatever.
The one thing I wanted to talk about, John, and everybody can let us know as well what you're thinking of this. It's been obviously since 2019, John, so it's obviously been a few years since Endgame came out. The movie that came out right afterwards was Spider-Man Far From Home, which really only dealt with the blip as being like, holy shit, now I have to go redo high school. And that's, they go to Europe and you get Mysterio and all that. And then after that, you had, the Black Widow, which is a prequel, so it doesn't really count. And then you had Shang-Chi, and then you had the Eternals. And then, Far From Home, No Way Home was just last Christmas. And then just 2 months ago was Doctor Strange 2. Which I felt to me was more of a sequel to WandaVision than Endgame. I feel like we haven't had a movie that feels like it's a proper continuation post Endgame. Like I feel like the Spider-Man ones are not a proper continuation. They talk about the blip, but I don't feel like that it's gone forward. Even
and everything else is like laying out groundwork, like Shang-Chi, Eternals. They're all like
they're all different
origins.
Yeah, they're all, and I feel, and so to be very honest with you, John, I actually feel way more excited now that after watching this for, for Thor, Love and Thunder, because we're back to an Avenger, we're back to one of a character. Plus, you've got the Guardians, and I feel like the Guardians and the Avengers and all, Black Panther and all that. Like, I feel like we haven't had anything with those characters in forever. And I'm kind of really excited to, even now more so, for Love and Thunder, because I really want to see that we see Thor getting rid of his tubby lard and getting back into your shape, ripped like a god. And and that for me, I think heightens my excitement, because I feel like these movies that we've had since then, while they've been good, and No Way Home is a bit of a different beast, but I feel like they haven't been. There's some spiritual succession that hasn't happened with any of these movies, and so for me, I have a lot of hope and faith pinned on Love and Thunder. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
no, I think it 100% does. And in regards to Doctor Strange, I feel like Doctor Strange, during their advertising and the whole press run, they made it seem like it was going to be of Endgame, Infinity War caliber, and it turned out to be kind of like more of an isolated, like, Doctor Strange horror themed follow-up that happened to have some cameos and stuff in there. So yeah, I think you're right. I was going to ask like what your hype meter is looking like for Thor Love and Thunder, or if you were maybe more excited to see Elvis this week, or Obi-Wan Kenobi finale next week. But yeah, I think it's 100%. It's going to be Thor. I think everyone's going to be most hyped about Thor. It is going to be cool to see Helmsworth and the gang back in this. Are the Guardians in this movie?
Yeah, they're going to be in it for a little bit, because he, at the end of this Endgame, he calls me the Asgardians of the galaxy, and he flies off with them, right? So yes, there's a connective thread between the end of Endgame and the beginning of this movie, and that obviously, stuff happens. We see him get more fit and everything else. Maybe they're in it for 15 minutes. Who knows? But yeah, and that's like, I see Lewis is asking me about Loki and stuff like that. Yeah, Loki, Winter Soldier, and Falcon, like, I get that those were direct off of Endgame, but I felt like they weren't elevated. They just didn't feel like all of this with Infinity War and Endgame. And then I felt like we just crashed with these other movies. And again, I'm not shitting on them. No Way Home is as close to Endgame level hype that we could have gotten. But even then, it didn't feel like a proper successor to Endgame.
It's hard, because this is a juggernaut. Like, this movie, this is the peak, right? Yeah. Endgame is like kind of the peak, and then you got to kind of drop. Like, not saying any of those movies are bad or anything like that, but yeah, not at all. You have to kind of start working it up again so you can have this. I don't know what the gap is between when they first started the MCU and when Endgame happened. Whatever.
Well, it was 20. It was 2008, so 11 years.
Yeah, so like a decade worth of build up, connective tissue, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's going to be hard to top that. But yeah, I think you're right. Thor, I think, is going to be the closest we're going to come to being able to do that, unless they sign some miracle contract and have Robert Downey and Scarlett and Chris Evans and all those guys back again. Because who knows? COVID kind of broke the world, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Scott's shouting out Blade. Yeah, we're all looking forward to Blade. I wish they would show something. Something would be nice,
as opposed to a voice that you didn't even know was his.
Yeah. No way. That's such a deep cut. If someone listened to that and goes, I think that's Marshall
They
Ali
said
or
that
whatever.
the director came out and said that's who it was. We're
Yeah.
talking about
No, but I'm just saying who
Eternal.
in the theater listened that hard and was like,
Yeah,
oh, I know
nobody
that
knew.
voice.
Yeah, get out of here.
Maybe those
Yeah.
closest to him were like, was that you?
So overall,
But
John,
anyways,
you're happy. You're happy with Endgame.
yeah, I'm really happy with Endgame. I would have to debate if it makes it into my top 5. I feel like my top 5 for the Marvel movies is pretty tight, and it's mostly the kind of genre specific movies that they've done. I probably have to rewatch Ant-Man 1 again because I do remember enjoying that, but I do also remember thinking it had a TV movie
Yes.
feel to it. So
Well,
yeah,
you gotta remember, yeah, at the beginning of this, you were like, Ant-Man 2 connects. Yeah, at the end of Ant-Man 2, he goes into the quantum realm in the van.
in the van.
And
Yeah.
they're all outside. You got Janet Van Dyne, you got Hope Van Dyne.
Oh man,
I
don't think I saw that
Hank
movie
Pym.
then.
They're all outside on a pier, and all of a sudden they flaking away, and it ends with the fact that Scott is now stuck in the quantum realm, and that's why he pops out. And in the storage unit, which, by the way, did you recognize who the storage unit security guard was?
No, is it Lou Ferrigno?
I don't know. He's an Asian guy, man.
Oh no, Ken Jeong. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant Ant-Man. I'm like, I just finished telling you that I don't remember any. I don't think I've seen the end of Ant-Man 2. I think I've only seen the first half.
So wasn't that confusing to you as to why the hell he was sitting inside of a van?
No, because I saw the movie before and it was explained the first time I watched the movie. So I guess it just in my head was like, that's what happened. There's a van and a rat's gonna run across a thing and trigger this whatever. But yeah. Shout out to Ken Jeong. Yeah, he was hilarious. And I think the first time I saw him was Hangover. Is he the doctor in Hangover? That was like his first job.
Yeah, he's the guy who jumped out of the back of the trunk. Remember his name?
Is that where he's from? I thought he was the doctor.
No, he jumps out of the back of the trunk. There's something in the back of the limousine. They open it up.
I remember now. Yeah. Well, man, Hangover's got to go on the list too. All right, folks. So we're going to wrap up Endgame. If you guys have got a suggestion for what we're going to watch next week, drop it now. Please, only one suggestion, folks. And we're going to do a little spinner activity. The following week, we are going to put on the schedule Thor Ragnarok, I believe. Right, Rob?
Wait, what week are we going?
Or did we run out of time? Did we miscalculate the dates?
No, you're right. No, so next week is let me pull up my trusty handy calendar. Next week is the 27th, and then July 4th. Monday, July 4th, we will be watching Thor Ragnarok because Thor Love and Thunder drops on the 8th, that Friday. I've already got my tickets, John.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, if you guys are in my hood, hit me up and I'll let you know where we are going to go see it. But yeah, that's pretty exciting. So let's start throwing out some movies. Rob, I'm going to get you to go through the list, but give me your movie choice first. And I got a handy dandy fancy spinner here.
Well, I'd like to pick one. All right. I'm going to say Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
So that's Bill and Ted 1, not Bogus Journey. I love
Bogus Journey. I hate Bogus Journey. It's so stupid.
I watched it so many times back in the day. I haven't watched it in a million years.
Lewis is saying Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders, okay. Old school.
I don't know if this is Scott's. I don't know if he put Hangover. But I don't know if that's his actual selection or not. I'm gonna wait.
Gord keeps going with the edge, so I think I have to put that. Fraser's actually going Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Bill and Ted 3. All right.
Bill and Ted 3. Oh yeah, what's up, Michelle? Yes.
Get the hell out of here. I don't even know where you would get that to watch.
Okay, if something is impossible to get, we might have to strike it from the list.
Flash Gordon. She comes I don't even know if Michelle's been watching it all tonight. She comes in the last minute. Oh, Flash Gordon.
I think she was waiting. She was purposely waiting. She would throw out Howard the Duck, but we've already watched it once. So shout outs to Howard the Duck, who does appear in Endgame. I think he's in one of the background shots and stuff like that.
Just so you know, Flash Gordon is nowhere.
I kind of would want to watch it though, but it might be difficult, Michelle. I don't know if you have an alternate. Okay, so we're gonna have to figure out some way to get it if this gets chosen. Anybody else? Is Scott actually going with the Hangover? I think he's going with Hangover.
Well, I know originally he said Remo Williams, which I completely support. But that
Oh.
also is like nowhere to be found.
Oh my god! All right, so we may have to figure something out. All right, we might have to.
Listen, we can. Well, wait. What's your pick, John? What do you have?
So I was torn. I had a whole bunch of different ideas. I don't know if I should go with something easy like Winter Soldier because we're in this whole superhero motif, or I did want to say the original Michael Bay Transformers, which is Transformers 1 with the Shia LaBeouf and Megan.
Wait, what was the guy's name?
Shia LaBeouf? Shia LaBeouf? Shia LaBeouf, I think is his name, right? He disappeared from the mainstream. I don't know where he is. He used to be streaming 24/7 for some reason. It was weird.
Oh my god!
But that movie, I feel like that movie came out right in the summer, right?
Yeah,
so right around this time of the year, and for some reason that movie just hit really hard for us. I think it would have been 15 years ago because I think we just moved the store to our current location, which is the Warden Avenue location. And we were beat. We were like unpacking stuff, resetting everything up, and we were like destroyed. And a bunch of customers came in. We're like, "Oh, the new Transformers movie is a ton of fun." So we all pretty much just packed it up and went straight to the movie theater. Everyone piling into cars like old school, high school styles, and we all went to see this Transformers movie, and we all had a blast. So I feel like that just takes me back in time.
Yeah, it takes you back on time, knowing that Bumblebee's pissing all over people's.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does anybody want a weekend?
Sarah puts Pitch Perfect.
That is not the movie for this show.
I don't know. I'm putting it on there. She's choosing it. Okay, we're gonna give everyone like last chance to get your thing in there.
X-Men 2, X United.
X-Men 2. Oh man, one hit wonder, Natalie Imbruglia. I could never pronounce her.
You can't pronounce anybody's name.
I can't. Yeah. Rob Goody Goulet. What was that? Will Ferrell gag or whatever. I think I'm just. Oh man, I think I just had to put Winter Soldier. In case some people aren't feeling Transformers. So I don't know if there's anybody else. I don't know what we're gonna do if Flash Gordon comes up and we can't find it anywhere, but we're pretty resourceful. We can figure something out. Sarah, one choice. You can't throw out multiple. Deliverance? Is that a movie?
Yes, it is.
Or is that a state of mind? I don't know what that
is. No, it is a movie, John. It's not. Yeah, Have you ever heard the name "The Squeal Like a Pig"?
Okay, so is Sarah legit going with Pitch Perfect? I'll give her one last chance to change it if she actually wants Deliverance. All right. And anything you really want to watch on here, Rob? All right, I think this will be fun.
Bill and Ted 1.
Bill and Ted 1. Oh, yeah, exactly. Je m'appelle Claude or blah 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 blah. Oh man! All right, so what is Sarah doing? Watch it. What is she doing? Is she doubling? Okay, so she
wants you to watch Deliverance, I think is what she's saying.
Bill and Ted. Yes, exactly, Michelle. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
No, it's not. It's horrible. It's horrible.
You know what? Movie. I have to go Bogus Journey then.
What
since we got all these Bill and Teds on here.
Oh my god!
I think that's happened. All right, shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Scott, bringing back the fetch. All right, so we're gonna leave Pitch Perfect down here. Rob, are we good to go with this?
Whatever, man.
All right, no backsies, Rob. You're in for whatever this lands on. If it's Flash Gordon, we're gonna have a hard time.
Fucked. If it's Flash Gordon, we're fucked. I don't know where the hell we're gonna get that.
All right, let's go. You ready?
No, but sure.
Yeah. All right, drum roll, folks. Let's
no
go.
Whammies, no whammies, no whammies, okay. No whammies, no Flash Gordons, no Pitch Perfect.
Oh. All right. Oh, perfect. Bill and Ted 3. We have a winner. So Fraser's choice of Bill and Ted 3, which I haven't seen. So this works out perfect.
Let me just
Rob, I think you rented this when it first came out, right?
I did. Bill and Ted Face the Music is currently in Canada on Netflix.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that works out perfectly. The easiest form. Everyone can keep their other choices for next time we do this. Man, Flash
Yeah.
Gordon would have been a funny situation. Thanks for the suggestion, Michelle. So we're going Bill and Ted 3, which I think we did want to cover for the Heroes World podcast back in the day, and we never got it in there. So
That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, thank you so much, folks, for giving us your Monday night and hanging out with us and talking all kinds of crazy shit. And I hope you guys will join us next week for Bill and Ted 3.
You know what? If people are interested or currently in Canada on iTunes, it's on sale for $7.
What, all 3 movies or just 3?
No, just Bill and Ted Face the Music is currently on sale for $7.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
How do you like iTunes as a deliverer, like a deliverer of your digital content?
Yeah, I like it. That's how I get all my movies that way. This is the thing. And people always like, oh, why are you double dipping? Because I'll buy a movie like, say, Dune. I'll buy it digitally and then I'll buy it physically because I don't like my movies being on Google, like through the YouTube stuff. I don't like, because sometimes that's the only option it just says, oh, you have to download it through the Google Play Store. And then it goes to my iTunes stuff. And I don't like it. I don't like the interface. I don't like it. I like everything. John, I'm a meat and potatoes guy, even though I'm actually cutting out most of my red meat.
But you are an Apple guy, though, right? You basically, a lot of your equipment at home is Apple. Sorry, folks, we're just diverging a little.
Yeah,
Apple,
but
I'm
Apple
actually
TV,
curious.
I can use through my Fire Sticks as well. Like the Apple TV app and it takes my library anywhere I want to go. So yes, I have iPhones and iPads, and I do have an Apple TV, but my Fire TVs I can use. They have an Apple TV app that I can use and access my library as well. So I like all of my digital movies to be underneath one app service, and that's Apple TV. That's just like
yeah, no, I'm just curious because I think the only service I've used is like PlayStation and the Xbox store. So, but it's tied to that system now. I think I could stream something I bought off of PSN onto a web page, but it's not easily doable. So, anyways, just curious.
I just bought Bill and Ted Face the Music. So I already got the first 2 on through iTunes from Apple TV library, so I might as well.
Yeah. So bonus points if you want to watch 1 and 2 again. Go ahead, go for it. We will be watching 3 next week. Again,
it is on Netflix, so go ahead, you can watch it there.
Yes, thank you, everybody, folks. So if you go and see Elvis this week, let us know. I think Rob's raring to go.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think I might go do that, John. Because I'm going to go see Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis Presley. All right, thank you very much. We are going. We're going to see you guys later. It's always hard to end this because I don't want to stop talking to you guys because it's always fun. So thank you, everybody. We will see you guys next week for Bill and Ted 3.
See you guys. Thanks, Timmy.